Hi, I'm Gigi Schweikert with Today's Family. We've got a really special guest today, Joan Lunden. And let me tell you, I just have to tell you, I admire her so much. So for all my little guests out there, I'm so excited about this opportunity to speak with you. She's a mother of 7, as you know. She is probably the closest thing to royalty we have in America. America's little sweetheart, and you all remember her from Good Morning America. Well, now she's doing something that's even more incredible, and that's being advocate for health. And we can all use a little bit more of that. So we're going to ask her a little bit about what's going on with her kids and her husband and all that good stuff, and also what all of us can do to make a healthier America. So let's check it out with Joan Lunden. So tell me about your kids. Let's start with all the good stuff.
Well, round 1, which a lot of people will remember, I had 3 girls while I was working at Good Morning America, and they are now in their 20s. The girls are 22, 26, and 29. And then I have 2 sets of twins, and they are 6 years old, and the other set just turned 5 years old last week.
My goodness. So you're telling me you have 4 kids that are 5 and 6?
Yes.
Wow.
They're 20 months apart.
Goodness gracious. Okay, that's mommyhood, super mommyhood at its best. All right, so for those mommies out there who feel like they can't even take a shower, what's your #1 mommy tip?
Every now and then when I go to the dentist or the doctor with one, I'll take them all just so I can walk them all through the waiting room and look at the mothers and say, I'm just here to make your life seem so much simpler. No, I think, you know, I swear to God, I think I'm less daunted by motherhood the second time around. I think I'm more patient. I mean, obviously we've been around the block and we know what to expect. But I just am absolutely bowled over by watching the process of little children becoming little people and starting to have conversations with you. And, you know, obviously the responsibility kind of grows exponentially when you have 4 little ones, when you have 2 sets of twins. But in kind of a converse way, I'm a play date. People call for play dates. I said, what do you mean? I am a play date 24/7. But, you know, they all play together so beautifully. That in a way it almost makes it easier.
Well, it's kind of like that for me a little bit. For those of you who know me, I've got 4 children, right? And so I've always kind of had that built-in play date too, so which is really nice. And so what I find myself, and this probably happens to you too, is that I have my 4, then plus a couple more. Yes. Do you ever find out you end up with more kids than you even have?
In my opinion, you should hope that you're the house that they all want to come to. It always used to, you know, I wanted to make sure that the kids, I always encouraged them to have the friends over at our house. You keep more in tune to what they're doing, and that's more important for when they're in the ages that you have, the teenage years.
Absolutely. So making sure that they're hanging at your house. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, I mean, we could talk for hours. We could do a documentary, but let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now and really your campaign for health, which is so important. I look at my young girls and I look at how they're comparing themselves to other people, and not just celebrities these days, but with the onset of Facebook, it's a comparison culture. And so I've got little 13 and 14-year-olds who are trying to figure out who they are based on what other people look like, what other people, their body shapes are. So I'm so excited about your campaign for this. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because back in the old days, in the beginning of Good Morning America, I kind of got, as a woman, relegated to the woman stories. Right. You know, health, what to feed our kids, parenting, education, how to run your home. And interestingly, I think those probably contributed to my popularity because, I mean, I was talking about what everyone really cared about. And they definitely helped to shape my future, because since I left Good Morning America, I really gravitate toward anything that has to do with health, and specifically women's and children's health. I do a show every Sunday morning on Lifetime called Health Corner.
Love it. Got to check it out.
Yep. But I also am involved with many health organizations and even pharmaceutical companies when they come out with new drugs. Or I work on how to prevent type 2 diabetes and how to manage it. I work on another program with the Colon Cancer Alliance on how to prevent colon cancer. I'm actually, to be very honest, a doctor's kid who always thought I would grow up to be a doctor, and it never happened.
Who knew? Did anybody know that? I don't think I knew that.
And so I feel that there are other ways, though, that you can make a positive difference in the lives of other people, and in particular in their health. And that is to disseminate information and to get in front of audiences. And that's why I've written books, as you know, Cooking Healthy, Living Healthy, Growing Up Healthy, and I'm all around the country all the time speaking to groups like I am tonight at the Somerset Medical Center.
Well, we're just so excited about you doing that, and just so beautiful, and obviously, so all the things that you're doing on the inside just come on the outside. I'll just tell you a quick story having to do with the colon situation and colon cancer and that whole thing, is that where I was at my local hospital, and they had actually a life-size colon that you could walk through. So my children found that to be absolutely fascinating. And so I just took a tour of a colon. So I just thought I'd add that for a little bit of just there. But
what a great teaching tool.
It is.
You know, I think as parents, if I wanted to say one thing to parents out there, I think that we have to understand that we can either predispose our children to chronic illness later in life, meaning, you know, heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cancer, by what we feed our children in the early years. Because when children are little, they're not like small adult bodies. They're very different. They have cell division going on, and so foods that are cancer producing can affect them in a more severe way than us. So you really have to be careful what you're feeding them, and it doesn't mean you have to eliminate every one of their favorite foods or take everything out of the house that's bad, but try to constantly introduce them to healthy foods. It's our responsibility. We buy the groceries. They're not going to eat Doritos and Ding Dongs if you don't buy them and bring them into the house. So instead of fighting over them once they're there, just don't buy them. And I really feel that you should never make foods taboo, but at the same time, I make sure that fruits and vegetables are on the table at every meal. And I'm constantly introducing new fruits and vegetables to my children. And I don't serve anything other than whole grain pasta or brown rice. And I don't serve white bread. I mean, it's just, we are the adults and we're in charge of their childhood. And the best gift we could ever give our children is to give them a life free of chronic illness. And so that is it. It's within our power. We hold that power within our hands. So I'm always out there encouraging parents to understand really what the long-term consequences are of giving in. We're not there to be their best friend. We're there to set nutritional guidelines just like we would set curfews. And in this day and age, I don't think that parents today, that your biggest concern should be an ear piercer or a tattoo. I think it should be obesity. And we really have to be careful of that, because if we don't keep our children's weight in check and we aren't tracking their growth ourselves, that's our responsibility, not your pediatrician's office. It's ours as parents. We can help give our children, seriously, a longer life. We can actually give them longevity.
Wow, and that's amazing. Thank you so much. I know you have so many great tips, so check out Joan Lunden's books. Check out her blog. It's really awesome, and I think all you mommies out there will really enjoy it.
JoanLunden.com. It's really easy.
There you go, and that's with the U in the London part. Okay, so, because that'll make it a little bit easier for everybody. All right, I'm Gigi Schweiker. We're signing off for today's family. Thanks for joining us.